Oh, excuse me. Are we live? Are we live? Not sure if we're live. I'm going to assume that we're live. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, I am back in Florida. Oh, the weather is perfect. It is beautiful. It's somewhere in the 70s. Cool breezes. Um, as soon as I'm finished this show, I'm going to open every window in the house and let the breezes come through. And it's just so wonderful and relaxing. And I'm sorry that I know that there are so many of you still shivering, still freezing, although I'm told in New York it's going to be very warm today, but um, I'm sorry for those of you who still have snow and you're sitting by your fires and you're getting sick of the winter and all of that stuff. But anyway, good morning, everybody. Before we begin the show, before we even start the show, I'd like to say good morning, of course, to my spirit guide Gregor, who is standing just to the right of me here. And I would like to say good morning to Chris. Good morning, Chris, wherever in the world you are. Who knows?
Good morning, Rosemary.
We're going to call you the gypsy or the wanderer or something like that. And then, and of course, good morning to all of you watching. Do we have anybody watching? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Is there anybody there? I haven't seen that for ages. Is there anybody there?
There are a lot of people on, but there's still a lot of people. I see the numbers clicking up, logging in.
Okay. So, excuse me. So while we're waiting for everyone to log on, um, let me think. I did have a story for you all, and now it's old timers clicking in here. What was the story? Because I thought I must talk about that on the show on Thursday, and now here we are, and it's Thursday, and we're on the show, and I can't think for the life of me what it was that I was going to tell you all. Oh well, I can start with the most amazing weekend that I had, and I had the best and most amazing weekend because um, this rarely happens that I get my darling boy to myself, my grandson Reese. I had him all to myself from Friday until Sunday. Friday late afternoon till Sunday night, and we had a blast. We really did. Um, he was he makes me smile because he if for instance if we've gone down to the store, if we've gone to get a pizza or something, he holds my hand, and if there are any steps, he says, Mosey, let me help you up, or can I carry a bag for you, Mosey? So he's unbelievable. This kid is unbelievable, and I wanted to take him somewhere special. I have to admit to you that I was a little nervous about taking him anywhere because of my back. You never quite know when it's going to go out, and it has been a bit excruciating over the last few weeks or months or so. Anyway, but I took him to a show in New York, and it's this show is called the Blue Man Group, and if you haven't heard of it, if you don't know anything about it, check it out, look it up, because it's a great show. Three guys, and they're all mimes. They don't say a word. Nobody speaks through the whole of the show. So how could it possibly be funny? But it is very funny. It's a hysterical show, and the funniest part of all is that I just don't know how it happened, but I'll tell you the beginning. So we get out of the car, which takes us straight to the stage door. But now I'm looking, and there are steps leading up, and then there are more steps leading up, and I'm thinking, oh God, and that, please don't let my back go out. And Reese is right next to me, and he said, I'll help you, Mosey. And I just whispered to him, I said, I'm going to use watch what happens. I'm going to use my old lady magic. and we're going to see if somebody will help us up the steps. So I feel like a crotchety old lady telling this story, but anyway, and it's really not that bad. But anyway, there was this nice guy standing by the steps, and he took one look at me. He said, "Can I help you up the steps?" I said, "That's so nice of you." And I wink at Reese, and he gives me a grin. Obviously, the old lady magic is working, but I didn't expect the old lady magic to keep going and going and going. To cut a very long story very short, because I want to talk to all of you and I want you to talk to me, but to cut a very long story very short, I ended up on the stage. I was on the stage for over half an hour. I had so much fun. Um, the only thing in the back of my mind was, please don't let my back go out. But the best thing was that my grandson had so much fun watching me on stage with these three guys. They're all blue. Everything is blue. Um, and um, and they're not speaking and they're miming, and I decide I'm going to mime back to them. Anyway, we had such a great time. And then the next day I took him to a movie. It's a very old movie. It's called Labyrinth, and it had, oh gosh, I've forgotten the name of the guy now. How can I? Oh, David Bowie. How could I possibly forget David Bowie? And the nice thing was that a friend of his who he'd known he hasn't seen for a year because his parents moved to Texas were visiting New York, and his this friend's mother called me up and said that her son would like a play date with Reese, and I said, well, we can do it in the morning, but we're going to the movies in the afternoon. So they actually not only had the play date, but they also came with us to the movies. We had a lot of fun. The movie's called Labyrinth. It was made in, I think, 1985 or 1986. It's the best movie. Talk about fantasy, and it's for children, and it was just wonderful. And you know, when you think, I don't know if any of you've seen the movie. If you've seen this movie, you have to tell me that you've seen this movie. But we're so used to all of this technical stuff going on, and things being really, really real and so on. But if you think about it, going back into the 80s, they didn't have any of this. But this movie is great. So if you get a chance to see it, take your children to see it. I know it's 1985, 86, whatever it is. Why would you want to go see an old movie? But you have to go see this movie. It was great. And David Bowie was great. I know he's not here anymore, is he? One final point. Are they all in? Is everybody now in, Chris? Because I'm talking away and talking away. But anyway, one final point. This is a random fact given to me by Chris this morning. Today is the third month, the 14th day, and a random fact, mathematical, means nothing to me at all. You take the circumference of a circle and the diameter of the circle, and the answer is always the same, no matter how big or small the circle is, and the answer is 3.4. So apparently today is Pi, not PIE day, Pi Day. But I thought that we could make it into Pi Day. So I'm going to talk to you in a minute about my favorite pie and maybe give you some little tips and things for baking pies. And if any of you have got any recipes for pies, I know it's Pi Day, but I thought we'd make it Rosemary's Pie Day, PIE Day. So that's what we're going to do. Right, Chris, I'm done talking. Everybody should be on. Blah, 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 blah. I promise you I'm going to be quiet now. Go for it, Chris. Who have we got?
All right, Mary's on saying it's my dad's heavenly birthday today. Do he or Gray Eagle have any messages for me or the kids?
Well, I'm getting lots of hearts and so on. I think actually, though, they're as much for me as they are for you, Mary, because it was my daddy's birthday yesterday. So March seems to be the month of birthdays for lots of people. It's also, of course, St. Patrick's Day in 3 days, whatever it is. And I want to know how you're all going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But lots of hearts, lots of flowers, lots of kisses, Mary. Chris.
This is from, oh gosh, Tineke, Tineke. Hello, Rosemary. I am 58 years old. I had a heart attack 4 years ago. Since then, I have so little energy and regularly heart cramps. Will I regain more energy, and how, and will the cramps stop?
I think, first of all, I think the name is pronounced Tanika, but I'm not sure. You might want to let us know. But anyway, I think what you absolutely need to do is you need to learn to have some relaxation techniques under your belt. You need some tips and so on, and maybe meditation, doing a regular meditation. You can buy now. I have my meditation stuff going on. We have 5 meditations that we recorded that you can. I'm not sure where you get them from, but probably from Amazon. We get everything from Amazon these days, don't we? But having meditation and being very strict with how you use it, and to use a meditation at least once or twice a day can be extremely beneficial to you. And not only does it sort of relax and calm you, it relaxes and calms the spirit, and it feeds your soul. And I think that this is what you need to be looking for, other than, all of these medications or other suggestions. We're looking to feed your soul, my darling. And I think that that's what you need to be able to do. And a good meditation will help you to absolutely help you to do that. Another thing you might want to try is, we do have on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, we have lots and lots of examples of how to give healing to yourself, how to absorb healing, how to give healing to others, also how to use visualization techniques that help you, can calm you, can relax you, but also get you going. Because the more you feed your soul, the more, the more relaxed you become, the more physical energy you will have. I'm so sorry to hear that you're suffering like this. But I think that I have a suspicion that you're so busy helping everybody else in life in the past that you've forgotten to help you. And I think it's time for you to be a little selfish with yourself and to help you. And there are some of the ways that I'm going to suggest that you try to do this. It's no good me saying to you, yes, you're going to get better, wave a magic wand. You're only going to get better if you put some effort in. And I'm not saying that to make you feel badly, or because you're probably yelling at me. I've made a lot of effort, and I realize that, I understand that. But sometimes it's not about how much you try to put in it. It's the way that you try to help yourself. And I think that you need to feed your soul. You need to learn to say no to people. Difficult one, right? And I really think that you will improve if you do the things that I've suggested. Chris.
The next one's from Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Rosemary. When I go out, I ask my husband to watch over me, but I also want him to watch over my dog at home. Can Dawn be in 2 places at one time?
Dilemma.
How could that be possible? Or do they just move around taking care of us? Thank you for helping me understand.
Well, we come to this business of time now, don't we? Now, time in the spirit world is very, very different than time here on this earth. And so weirdly, it is possible to be in 2 places at the same earth time, the same the same idea of time that we have here on this earth. It is very, very possible to be in two places, because so in a spiritual sense, time is of a very different essence. It's not at all as we imagine it. So, can your husband take care of you and the puppy at the same time? Absolutely. There you go. And also, sort of talking about this, remember that it's all about energy and using energy and extending energy. And there's no end, there's no time limit, there's no barrier to the energy that we can expend, that we can give to others. And in the spirit world, when we're talking about our loved ones in the spirit world, expending that energy and extending it out to us, there are no barriers, there are no rules, there's no, it's not a question of I've got to go down this path before I go down this path. Energy is energy, and that's how they can be literally in two or three or maybe even 10 places at the same time, because their energy is extending out. Chris.
We have 3 people commenting on Labyrinth. Annika says, I have seen Labyrinth many years ago, and I have to refresh my memory. Sandra says, my son was born in 1988, and Labyrinth is still one of his favorite movies.
Oh, great. Oh, I'm so pleased.
And then Wayne says, I love the movie Labyrinth. I just wanted to ask a question. I miss my grandmother Connie and wanted to know if that was her at the end of my bed when I was having complications from my bladder cancer removal. She had on a white dress and curly hair at the end of my bed, pacing back and forth.
Well, you've told me far too much, the curly hair and all the rest of it. You don't need, don't when you're talking to someone like me, I could be a fake. I'm not, but no point, but just saying, you need to be very careful when you're talking to people who say that they're like me, because they can get hold of every little bit of information that you give to them. So try not to give too much energy when you're exploring these things, especially initially. Was that her? And I'm asking Grey Eagle here. Oh yes, and I've got his hand on my shoulder. Absolutely. Oh right. So, what is this man's name again, Chris?
This is Wayne.
Wayne, listen to me, Wayne. Why are you asking me the question you already know the answer to? Because I am told that you know who it was. You're absolutely right, and how fabulous that you would see her and connect with her in that way. That must really make you feel, very, very excited, I would say. Just make you feel loved and cared for, because I know she does love and care for you. And I'm asking, while we're talking about this, because you talked about the being in a hospital or being somewhere getting treatment or what have you. And so my concern is, and how are you? And I'm told you're doing really well. So please let me know. Keep us posted. Chris.
The next is from Judith. Rosemary, I don't seem to be healing as well or as quickly as the doctors said. I'm beginning to be concerned. I know I am on the healing list, but can I get extra help?
Are you asking me to zap you a little more, Judith? Because I'm very happy to do it, and I will give you a little extra zapping. I don't think you need it. I think you're a little bit nervous about things. I think you're doing fine, actually. I think you're doing really, really well. But we can certainly give you a little injection of extra love and extra care and extra healing, lots of blue. You need to, though, I feel as if I'm sort of wagging my finger at you here, but you do need to stop trying to push things and be patient, because one of the things you are not always is patient. So be very patient with yourself and learn to give to yourself and learn to relax and to rest and to stop worrying so much about the outcome. You know, so many of us, we worry about the future, what the future holds. Will I get a job? Will I be able to pay my bills? Will I be able to this and this and this? And I know how easy that is because I've been there myself. We look to the future and we worry about the future, but sometimes, in fact, mostly, trying to live in the present. I'm okay for today. That doesn't mean you stop doing things to make tomorrow look better, or to you know, doesn't mean you have to stop looking for a job, for instance, but learn to trust and learn to understand that, you know, God has ways of helping us, God has ways of fixing things. So try, if you can, Judith, to live in the moment, to live in the day, because everything will be eventually fine. Just don't hurry the process.
All right, we're back to the subject of pie. Our dear friend Jeff from Maine says pi squared means 2 mince pies.
I love it. Well, what is that 3.4 thing? That means to me, it means three and three and a, I don't know,
3.14 for March 14th.
3.1, 3.1 point mince pies, Jeff. I love mince pies. It's hard in America to find really good mince meat. Yes, for all of you who are thinking mince meat in a pie, it's a sweet meat. It's mince meat is a sweet meat. In Victorian times, the Victorians were very keen on their sweet meats, meaning generally, very often, dried fruits and or sometimes not dried fruits. But sweet meats are a delicious and very old-fashioned way of mixing all good things together. Very often, you'll put fruits with some kind of meat. For instance, a good mincemeat will be all sorts of delicious fruits, raisins and sultanas and so on and so forth, but it will also have a little bit of animal fat in there. Now you can get vegetable fat, so most people now put vegetable fat in there, but we used to, in a real good mincemeat, a sweet meat, sweet mince pies, delicious, you would always have some kind of very often a suet. If you don't know what suet is hard animal, hard fat, basically cow fat, and they would shred it or what have you and put it in there to give it some sort of moist flavor. It sounds disgusting, but when I'm talking about it, I'm thinking, really, that's what they did? But actually, it's delicious. So yeah, mince pies. So when you talk about mincemeat, you're not talking about meat. You're actually talking about delicious sweet meats. Chris.
All right. Annika says, I like Pie Day. I made 2 pies over the weekend for my birthday.
Oh, nice. What kind did you make? We want to know what kind you make. I tell you what I used to make for Samantha. I used to make, not sure you call it a pie, it would be more like an open tart. Samantha would stay for school lunches when she was a girl. And she would have lunches at school. And then she'd come home and she'd say to me, Mummy, can you make me whatever? And she'd describe it to me, and then I'd have to try and recreate her description of something or another. And I remember they used to, at school, they used to give them, it was, which I recreated, thank goodness I got it right, sort of like a pastry base. And then on the bottom of the pastry base, you put, I like apricot jam, or apricot preserve, but you can put whatever you want. And then you make like a custard or a creme patissiere, something like that. And you put that all over the top of that. And then I used to, because Samantha was little and her friends were little and they'd all come for tea when I'd create these things. And then I'd put sugar sprinkles on the top. And they loved it. Put it in the refrigerator till it's cold and the custard is set, and they loved it. So, you know, you've got to be inventive with the stuff that you make, I think. Keep going, Chris.
Dean says, Happy Pie Day. I have too many favorites to limit it to one.
Well, I know that, Dean. I'm so absolutely certain that you do. Give me a couple.
Then Nate is saying good morning to you, as well as Maria saying top of the morning, Rosemary.
Good morning, top of the morning. You're Irish, I take it. Yes, it's coming up to St. Patrick's Day. So, what are you all planning on? Are you ignoring it, or are you going to hang the Irish flag out there, or what you going to do? So, I mean, keep going.
All right, then there's a question from Cheryl. Do
Hi, Cheryl.
souls do souls on the other side ever wish to come back and try again? Or is it a relief to quote, get out of there?
um, well, it's a question of choices. Sorry, I'm wriggling away here because we're talking about when you say can they come back here and have another go? We're talking about reincarnation, and I do believe that there are people who do come back here and they do want to try again. Of course, different life, different family, perhaps different experiences that they can try. And there are some people who want to do that and are comfortable doing that and make the choice to do that. And then of course, there are other people who don't, who want to explore the universe and the many, many universes that are out there. I'm one of those. I think, I mean, I want to sort of come back and forth, and I should be with my daughter and with my grandson, and you know, watching them and watching over them. But I'd also like to explore a little bit and to see what else that there is that's out there, because it's a bit like um, those people who go on holiday every year to the same place, and 50 years later they're still going to the same place, and their kids are going to the same place, and all the rest of it. I guess those are the kinds of people who might want to come back here and might not want to give up this experience and to have another go. And then there are those people who refuse to go to the same place. They just want to try something new and something different for their vacations. So I'm one of those people who, although I do love going back to some of the places I've visited before, I also like to try new things too. Chris.
This next one is from Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
I work at an animal shelter in northeastern Arizona. We are overwhelmed with over 100 dogs and can't afford many employees. Do you see anything positive coming our way?
I was talking this morning. I was actually reading up about animals and animal shelters, and how can you possibly have 100 dogs that nobody wants? And I know that there are other animal shelters who have far more. Do I see something um, better coming? What I really feel is that it would be helpful if you could include your neighborhood or include your area to get people coming to volunteer to. It's all about awareness. If people don't know that you're there, and if people don't know that you're struggling, then people won't help and can't help because they don't know. So I think you have to be or get together with the people that you work with, get together with your volunteers, go to your local library. They'll help you to sort of distribute. We've got the internet now. There's no reason why people in your area should not be aware of what's going on with you. You just need be able to have somebody on your team who's able to help you to publicize your dilemma. And if you can do that, I think that will make an awfully big difference. And I think that, that's where you need to strive. But I have to say, I do commend you. I think what you're doing is fabulous and wonderful. And it's hard. It's very hard these days because so many people and I don't mean to be mean when I say this. I mean, there's so many awful things going on in our world right now that people are tending to sort of hunker down, think of only of themselves, think of what's going on with their family. Quite understandable, totally understandable. And so people aren't necessarily looking out to see where else they can help. But anyone out there listening, if you're lonely, if you need something to do, if you know get yourselves out there and get involved with these organizations, because there are so many really great organizations that need us. They need our help and support. Uh, and the best thing about giving your help and support and volunteering is that you get back tenfold. Okay, Chris.
Dean said he is celebrating the birth of his ninth grandchild yesterday. Her name is Isla, a Scottish name meaning island.
Oh, I know what it means. How nice. How fabulous. Oh, well, congratulations, Dean. Congratulations to the parents of the baby. And yeah, are you feeling old? You have nine grandchildren, or are they making you feel young? Um, Talking of Dean, by the way, somebody asked me just 2 or 3 days ago, did you make your Christmas cake this year? And because I know that Dean likes my Christmas cake and has made my Christmas cake, but put a lot more brandy in his than I would in mine. But nevertheless, I bet it was really good. And my answer was no, because I'm still not able to do a lot of what I'm able to do. But next year I can't let another year go by and not make the Christmas cake. This is the first year in so many years that I did not make a Christmas cake this year. But what I might actually do is start to make it now, because the older it is and the more mature it gets, the better it tastes. Chris.
Rhonda's asking, Rosemary, what are your thoughts on crystal bowls or sound healing, I think it's called?
Oh, well, uh, now everybody has their own interpretation of sound healing, but I think sound itself is amazing. There is a theory which I tend to sort of believe in. There's a place, I think it's in Machu Picchu or somewhere like that, where there's this enormous rock that sits high, 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 high up on sort of like an obelisk, you know, huge, tall, towering rock. Anyway, and there's this thing that sits on the top. And one of the wonders is, how did it get there? How could that, from thousands and thousands of feet, how could that get from here to up there? Because it's impossible for man to do it. And also, we're talking about thinking of the pyramids, and we know that there were thousands of slaves who died building the pyramids, but nevertheless, there are these places throughout the world, and you wonder how it's possible for this that's here to arrive sort of over there or up there or whatever. And there is a theory which I like, because a lot of it has to do with sound, and all sound is energy, and there's a certain vibrational level that we've heard of kinetic energy, we've heard of people being able to move things, and I've been able to do it myself from time to time, so I know that it's real. But you can create a certain amount of sound. I guess in order to move something several feet up onto something else, you'd have to have a lot of sound, or would you? You'd have to certainly have a sound that is pure and absolute vibration, that can lift, can move, and can do amazing things. So you're talking about sound healing. Sound, our physical body responds to sound. Our physical body can um, respond to music, for instance, and so on. And it's a natural thing for us to relax with certain types of music. So sound energy, if it's done in the right way, using the right vibration, can can really be effective. But like everything else, you need to make sure that you're doing it in the right way. That because vibration, certain vibration can be very beneficial to you, but it also can, excuse me, it also can be damaging to you if it's not used in the right way and you're not doing it in the right way. So just watch for that. Just be careful for it. But do I believe it's possible? Absolutely. There was another question in there. I've forgotten what the other question was.
I would actually have to go back to it. I've been scrolling down trying to find your next
That's all right.
question.
Don't worry, because that's fine. Let's move on.
All right. Melissa's asking, when you are pregnant, the soul of the baby is inside the mother's body, or is it waiting in the spirit world until the baby is born?
Well, that's a really great question. There are so many varying and so many unusual ideas about this. Does the soul enter the child at the moment of conception? Does the soul enter the child at a certain 3 months or six months in the womb? Or does the soul wait and enter the body as it takes its first breath? I can only give you my opinion, and lots of people differ. So I'm not going to say my opinion is the right one. I'm just going to say to you, lots of people have their own ideas. And Gregor is definitely here with me on this one. The soul, this might blow your mind just a little bit. The soul is there prior to conception, waiting for the moment of conception to be housed there. You never thought of that, did you? So the soul is waiting. And the reason that I personally have come to this conclusion is that I have, oh gosh, so many times over the years, I've seen, the best way I can describe it is, I don't know if you've ever seen a Disney movie where you get Tinkerbell and she waves the wand and all this sort of like beautiful sparks and light and bright lights and sparks sort of come out of the wand. And when I see a new soul about to enter a physical body, or when I see a new soul waiting, so I know that it's a momentary thing. That momentary thing might be anywhere up to 2 or 3 years. You see a soul who is waiting to be born, knowing where it's going to be born, waiting to enter at the moment of conception. I see this incredible, it's like a little bit of magic, and I see the soul in this way. And sometimes I will see the soul hovering, waiting. Sometimes I see the soul actually right there, almost in the womb area, waiting. And sometimes I will see it at the moment of conception. So I'm fairly certain that the soul is waiting and ready to enter when it's time. Yes, interesting, right? Chris.
Natasha's asking, good morning. My guides have been telling me it's time to really embrace and use my clairs. What is my next step in this journey? I believe my guide is my grandmother, whom I've only met in spirit.
To use her what?
CLAIR, like in clairvoyant, clairaudient, clair, whatever. Clairs.
Oh, I've never heard it referred to in that way. But it's interesting and it makes sense. Well, I think because you seem to know so well, and from what you're saying, I think you're right. I think your grandmother is guiding you. Be careful when you're using the term my guides, because a guide is something entirely different. But I think your grandmother is with you. I think she's watching you. And if you're hearing from her that it's time that you started to embrace or to develop your sensitivity, I'm not going to use the Claire's thing, but your sensitivity and your awareness, you may find that you are clairvoyant. You may find, which means seeing further than or beyond, seeing beyond the ordinary vision. You may be clairaudient, clairsentient, with, you know, lots of clairs in there, but you won't know this until you begin to settle, to learn to raise your level of consciousness and to become much more aware and much more sensitive of what's going on. And at that point, whichever type of ability you have will then come to the fore. So if you're hearing that it's time, my suggestion would be then pay attention, learn to become more sensitive, and most of all, learn to raise your level of consciousness. Before you start any of that other stuff, learn to raise your level of consciousness so you become level with, at one with, and at tune with, and in tune with the energy around you and the energy of who you're connecting with, as in this case your grandmother. Okay, don't be in a hurry to do it. She would be the last one to tell you take it slowly. Sorry, she'd be the first one to tell you to take it slowly. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Teresa says she's missing her dad today, wondering if her family will have good health this year.
Oh, well, I'm hoping the same for you. I'm hoping that we all have good health this year, but we know that it's, you know, things take a turn. I think what you have to do is you learn to live in the moment. You learn to live in the day and to appreciate the day. And if your family are all doing well and they feel happy and so on, then it's a joyful day for them. It's a joyful day for you. It would be irresponsible of me to say more than that for you, but I wish you, first of all, I wish you all the joy in the world. Second of all, I know that you're strong enough to deal with anything that comes along, any of those little blips in the road that we have to deal with. I know you're strong enough to do that, to deal with that. Chris.
Bridget is on. Bridget was one of our bottom brickers. Are we going to be doing that soon?
I think we should get all our bottom brickers together if they'd like to, or is there anybody else out there who'd like to do a bottom brick exercise? What am I talking about? Some of you saying, go to my website. You can go see it on the website. There are the bottom brickers there and their exercises. I think there are some little clips as well on there. So if you want to be a bottom bricker, all you have to do is email us. And Rosemary Altea is simple, easy and simple, and say, I want to be a bottom bricker, and you tell us why you think it would be helpful to you, and we certainly do that. But I think we also, you know, any of the bottom brickers out there who are listening who'd like to all get together, I'd like to sort of revisit, how did the exercise help you? Are you still finding it useful? Did it change your life, etc., etc.? So if we've got a bottom bricker on, I'm going to say, you want to come on the show? When will you come on the show? It won't be a Thursday morning. It'll be another day. But why don't we just do this, Chris?
Sounds good. Well, let's follow up with her question. I'm wondering if you have advice in dealing with people who are hard and fast in religion and wanting to argue about it. I love all people and am looking for a great and loving response. It hurts too when they attack, particularly some Christians.
Yes, well, you want to know how I deal with it? I don't. believe that everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I believe that everybody has their own idea of God. Everyone has their own idea of heaven. Everyone has their own path to travel. And it's not for me or you or anybody else to try to convince other people that we're right and they're wrong, or vice versa. Uh, if I've come across those hard and fast people that you're talking about, and my feeling is so very often they don't want to talk to you, they want to talk at you. And I won't be talked at, so I just turn away and I don't deal with it. I'm not in the business of trying to persuade people that I'm right. I'm not in the business of trying to persuade people that, my way is the way, or I'm not. I don't even care if somebody just doesn't want to consider it. If you are happy in what you believe, it's great. Um, if you're the kind of person who wants to try to force other people to your way of thinking, well, good luck with that, because I won't be one of those people listening to you, because I just will turn away. I shall walk away. I don't get into arguments about religion at all. And I hate the word religion, because the word religion to me is the most misused word in the English dictionary. It means so many different things to so many different people. So let's use the word belief. So if your beliefs are very different than mine, but you're fine with them and you're happy with them, that's great. My beliefs are mine and I'm happy with them and I'm fine with them, and that's great. If we can talk about those things reasonably, I'm happy to listen to somebody else's ideas. I find them fascinating. I don't dismiss other people's beliefs, because it's not my place to dismiss other people's beliefs. I hold on to my beliefs. I'm always curious about other people's beliefs. I'm curious about the different religions, I'm going to use that word, that are around. I've always been curious of those things. Even when I was a kid at school, we used to have Bible study, and my teacher was always telling me that I was using red herrings all the time, because I had so many questions about everything. And there's nothing wrong with questioning at all, but for those people who are dead set in their ways and their beliefs and won't listen to anybody else, well, so what? It's their choice. Leave them alone. Stop trying to change other people. Just hold on to what you believe and live your life. You can still love and admire people who believe differently than you. Just why do you think it's your job to try and change somebody else? It isn't. It's your job to live, not only to uh, live your beliefs, to follow your beliefs, to act out your beliefs, and to embrace your beliefs. You notice it's your. Not everybody else is yours. And so, how do you deal with it? How do I deal with it? I don't care. If you want to believe in something, good for you. If it makes you happy, why would I want to change that? Just just don't come at me, because I'm not having it. I won't. Some people might say that I'm hard and fast in my belief as well. I guess I am, really. Chris.
All right, this one's from Caroline. My 3 times great grandfather, Captain Henry Harvey, went down with his ship in 1870 near the Needles. Does he know I'm in contact with a lady who owns his tea service set? Are there any messages? Much
Oh,
appreciated and thank you.
wow, where are the needles? I don't know where the needles are. This sounds to me like a really fascinating story. And it also sounds to me that you have a wonderful connection with your grandfather, because you're obviously doing research and you're finding things out, and I think that's great. And if that is the case, and I'm hearing somebody chuckling behind me, if that is the case, I think your grandfather is definitely aware of. I don't think it matters about the tea set. I think it's the connections that you're making. I think it's the exploration that you're achieving. I think it's your learning and growing that he's happy about. Uh, who cares about the teaser? Uh, is This is what I'm feeling. Although, of course, you might be in awe of the tea set. It might be a beautiful tea set, but it's much more about what you're doing for yourself, and you're exploring this spiritual world, and you're connecting with your grandfather, which is, to me, that is exciting. That's the exciting thing. So I was going to say my guest, but it's not really a guest because I really feel that he's here with Grey Eagle, and wonderful laugh I can hear. So yeah, I think he's not only aware that you did all of the T-set stuff, I think he's much more interested in you and aware of you. Oh, it's a fascinating story. Yes, keep going, Chris.
All right, this is from Barb. Rosemary, speaking of souls, what do they look like before they enter the body?
Well, I think I've described, I can only think of Tinkerbell with the wand and all that sparkly stuff, but bright and incredibly beautiful and pure light is the best way that I can describe it to you. But not regular light, not ordinary light, sort of magical light. So think of Tinkerbell. Think of all the stardust, and that's really, yeah, it's kind of like a stardusty thing, but they are pure, pure light, incredible light. Okay, keep going, Chris.
This is from Anne. Dear Rosemary, I am going into the working world after caregiving for 25 plus years.
Oh boy.
I'm lost on the type of work to do that would bring me joy and income. Can you help? Blessings. I am 61.
Well, 60 is the new 50, and so on and so forth. You're never too old to begin again, and we know that. Um, I don't, I don't want to disappoint you too much, um, but I think you will find that wherever you go, whether it's working in a store part time, or whether it's sort of putting clothes on a rack, or whether it's I'm just thinking that you could be a barmaid if you wanted to be, why not, or a waitress or what have you. I mean, I was a waitress for many years, and actually a barmaid as well when I think about it. But there are always going to be people who come to you, who need you. You'll have to learn to say no sometimes, which is hard for you, I know. But whatever it is that presents itself to you, and I don't think it's something that you're going to necessarily choose. I think it's going to be something that will present itself to you, which you will then choose. But you're always, always going to be a carer. That's a given. You are a natural born healer, and what is it? You can take the whatever it is out of. I don't know what that saying is. Can you think of it, Chris? What I'm thinking of? You can take the. I can't think. Anyway, you're a carer. You'll be fine, Chris. Keep going.
All right, this is from Mark. Mark's joined us late, but he's excited to be here.
Hi, Mark.
He says, I'm going green on Saturday to a St. Patty's Day party. I just
Great.
finished doing the musical Sister Act. It was a fun run. I was the guest artist, and my role was Monsignor O'Hara, a good old
Yay.
Irish lad.
Oh, great. Good for you. I didn't know you did these things. You're going to a party. Right. Well, then. It is Saturday the 17th. I don't remember. 14, 15, 16, 17. Yes. Yes. Great. There'll be lots of parties around then. And don't forget, if you're going to some parties, you just told me you're wearing green, which is great. I'm just thinking of best kind of pie that the Irish love. There is a great movie. It's called Potato Peel Pie, I think, something like that. Oh, it's the most wonderful movie, and as it's Pie Day and we're celebrating PI Day, why not have a pie that isn't really a pie? The I think it's called the potato peel pie, something like that. True story uh, of a group of people in Guernsey or Jersey or somewhere like that, off of the British coast, who have to use potato peelings to make a pie. It's a fabulous story. You should watch it. You should watch it on St. Paddy's Day because we know that we know how much the Irish love potatoes. I must be part Irish myself, although I don't think I am, but I love potatoes too. They are my most go-to thing. And so enjoy and have some, have, at least have a baked potato on the day. Chris.
Melissa said before you spoke about music, what music do you recommend to heal the mind and body?
Well, it is your everybody's preference. So the kind of music that I would like, I mean, I like Beethoven, I like Chopin, I like, but you you can get, you can get some lively pieces and you can get some just gentle, calming pieces. Uh, the healing meditation that I use, the music was created by the person who helped me to record the CD. But soothing, gentle music. It depends. I think what you need to do is you need to have music that you can relax by, that that you can sort of let yourself move into. If there are any musicians about, you'll know what I mean. Well, talking about moving into the music or becoming the music or being one with the music. I mean, I love jazz. I love the blues. Uh, some are far too lively that I wouldn't use for necessarily for healing, but some are just so soothing and amazing and just so it's really your choice. It's really everybody's choice, but find something that you can really feel moved by and that sways you because you're looking for music that feeds you. You're looking for music that feeds your soul, and also if you can find music that you can that helps you to visualize. Reese just finished playing a piece for Carnegie called Fantasy. I'm trying to think if it was by Chopin or if it was by Beethoven, but I'm leaning towards Chopin. Um, and it's beautiful. It's sort of kind of lively, but it gives you, you can actually, as you're listening to it, if you're really listening to it, you can actually visualize butterflies and visualizing butterflies flying all around you definitely will help to give you healing because, as the Apache believe, the butterfly is a symbol of eternal happiness and joy. But if you might like Brahms or you might like, some sort of softer music, you might like modern music. Find what makes you feel and listen to that because sound is incredibly powerful. And very often when I'm hearing someone in the spirit world, usually I can hear them, let's say with my ears, but very often it's as if the sound seeps through the skin. I imagine very much like dolphins and whales will connect with us, but sometimes the sound is what's important and the vibrational sound that's important. When I give consultations, I will often say to people that have come to me for the consultation, as I'm talking to you, say yes to me if you understand, say no to me if you don't. Don't be afraid to say no if you think I'm talking nonsense. What I'm really saying is, I need to hear your voice. They, in the spirit world, they need to hear your voice because the voice vibration will connect you, give a stronger connection and a more powerful connection. So very often I'll be talking to someone, be giving them information. That person will say, no, I don't understand that whatsoever. And we get an immediate response from the spirit world because they have heard that no, they've connected with that vibration and they say, yes. And usually it is yes, and it turns out to be a yes. And people do usually begin to understand what it is I'm talking about, thank goodness. But sound connection is very, very, very important in our lives, and very, very important in the way that we connect to the spirit world and to our also to our own soul. And I try to encourage people, and with my students, I explain how we need to listen to and to hear the heartbeat of our soul, because our soul will tell us things. So again, it's all about sound. How can you hear the heartbeat of your soul? Well, if you know how to go about it easily. If you don't know how to go about it, you may be able to do it or you may not be able to do it. But listening and paying attention to what you're hearing is a very crucial to helping you to heal. It's helping you to become more aware, and it's helping you to become more able to feed your soul, which in turn feeds you, feeds the whole of you. Chris, I think
Yeah,
we're
we're right. We're right at time, Rosemary. Two things though. Rhonda responded saying, "I think we need a whole session on sound, Rosemary. It's so interesting."
I know.
And I didn't know if you wanted to mention the package that you received this week.
Well, yes. So some kind person, although Samantha pointed out it might not be a kind person, it might be somebody who's trying to poison me, but I like to think that some kind person sent me this, and they are CDB gummies. Before I can even think whether or not to take them, if anybody out there knows anything about this, could you let me know? Because I really need to know who sent them. I would be a fool to start taking something if I didn't know where it was coming from and why it was sent to me. These things are sort of, they're gummies. You have one, apparently according to the thing, you take one with a meal every day. I'm pretty sure they make you happy, or they're supposed to, and I'm all for that. I mean, I'm all for trying this, and I appreciate the gesture, except there was nothing inside the package. So no letter, no nothing, no indication of where they came from. So if it was anyone out there, if you could just email Chris and let me know. I'll thank you in advance anyway. I do appreciate gifts of all kinds. I mean, geez, I had a friend, my daffodil man, send me some bulbs. They're just peeking through my hyacinth bulbs. They're beautiful. They smell gorgeous. Anyway, back to this. If it was you, if you could just let me know, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now, we are, I'm going to say pretty much definitely, although I am still having to go for tests and things, nothing dire. I explained to my grandson just wellness stuff and all of that, but hopefully we should be back here next Thursday. We shall hopefully be figuring out how to get our bottom brickers sorted out, and also we're going to be doing a cracking up session with my friends K and K. So we've got all of that to look forward to. So in the meantime, until I see you all again, please everybody have a very, very blessed rest of the day, pie day. Make a nice pie. I know it's all about the math, but I'm all about the pie. I think I might make a pie today. I have to think about it. Anyway, so please, have a great rest of the day, everyone. Have a fabulous rest of the weekend. Enjoy St. Patrick's Day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.